Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you might happen to be watching this. Welcome back. We have for you today Chapter 4, our fourth play session of our ongoing Allendar campaign. This is going to be the narrative recap. The live play should already be up if you want to watch the full session instead. But for those of you who are enjoying the shorter kind of narrative version, we've got it here for you. We're going to go ahead and jump into it now. Enjoy.
Helwinter morning arrives crisp and bright, with the city of Titan cloaked in a thick blanket of fresh snow. The streets are alive with the sounds of the season. Children shrieking with laughter as they hurl snowballs at one another. The rhythmic crunch of boots on frozen ground as bundled townsfolk hurry about their errands, and the persistent bustle of merchants in the markets preparing for the night's grand celebrations. Inside the broken keg, the atmosphere is far cozier. The hearth's fire crackles and pops, bathing the room in a warm glow and filling it with the scent of burning wood. From the kitchen wafts the delicious aroma of Darvoth's cooking, spiced sausages sizzling on the griddle, thick slabs of bacon, freshly baked bread, and an enticing hint of something sweet, perhaps a treat saved for tonight's feast. Gathered around their usual table, the group enjoys plates piled high with breakfast and mugs of steaming cider or coffee, their fingers curling around the warm ceramic as they savor the momentary respite. The morning is so inviting, so ordinary, that for a fleeting moment it almost makes them forget about the grim events of the previous night. Almost. Darvoth bustles out of the kitchen, his apron streaked with flour, and his demeanor cheerful despite the long day ahead. "Eat up while you can," he calls, flashing a grin. "Tonight's feast will keep me chained to the kitchen all day, so don't come knocking for seconds." He winks and retreats before anyone can reply. As the hearty meal settles over them, the weight of their troubles begins to creep back in. Theodore breaks the silence, hesitantly revealing something he's been grappling with since last night. "I think I might be a chameleon dragonborn," he says, the words hanging in the air as he demonstrates a newfound ability to alter his appearance through magic. The revelation sparks murmurs around the table, some intrigued, others skeptical. The conversation shifts to the previous night's encounter. Zethian speaks up next, carefully producing a wooden necklace he had taken from the scene. He reveals that he recognizes the murdered elf woman, Allura, also known as the Black Scale. A member of the Rangers' conclave, Allura was renowned for surviving battles no one else could, and was known for her black drake scale, cloak and fiery sword. Zethian's manner is guarded as he shares this information, revealing it piece by piece, careful not to disclose too much about how he knows it. The group debates their next move. The two missing thugs, Snitchy and Davy, are likely hiding at the Salted Kraken, a known dive where such characters often gather. Various ideas are tossed around for how to approach the Kraken and extract more information, or possibly retrieve Allura's stolen blade. Before heading to the Kraken, they decide to stop by the market. Talek hopes to deliver repaired items to Penny, but she is nowhere to be found. With time to spare, they follow a lead to a junk shop called Conduit Supply, where Penny had mentioned leaving word about their delivery. Conduit Supply is a peculiar place filled with shelves of oddities and macabre curiosities, preserved creature parts in jars, rare trinkets, and repaired items of questionable origin. Behind the counter stands an elderly man with long black hair who introduces himself as Thurnos Upton. He accepts Talek's delivery on Penny's behalf and hands over a mirrored necklace in exchange. The conversation takes a strange turn when Thurnos switches from common to draconic, addressing Theodore directly. "You seek the road, don't you?" he asks, his voice deepening, almost as if it belongs to someone or something else. His cryptic warning follows, "You do not wish to find the road. Those who find the road must walk it, and those who walk the road often die upon it. Few reach the end, and those who do often wish they hadn't. But if you do walk it, find me again." The words feel like a challenge, a puzzle designed to either dissuade or guide Theodore, though their true intent remains unclear. Just as abruptly, Thurnos returns to speaking in common, acting as if the exchange had never happened. The group presses him for information about brimstone, a resource they need in large quantities, but he hesitates, muttering about reluctance to send business his way. Saladin tries to reassure him, saying their intentions are not nefarious. Thurnos smirks. Not nefarious. Such a pity. When Theodore inquires about dragonborn relics, Thurnos produces a single platinum dragon scale from beneath the counter, an artifact worth more than they can afford. The group instead shifts their focus to purchasing weapons, ultimately leaving with 3 grenades, though Talek notices something peculiar. One of the grenades is not like the others. When he points this out, Thurnos simply says, "Let's just say I was an adventurer once too. If you get through 2 smoke grenades, you might need something with a bit more to it." Leaving the shop, the group divides the items. Theodore takes the 2 smoke grenades, while Saladin keeps the mysterious 3rd grenade, and sets their sights on the salted kraken. As they pass through the snowy streets of Titan, the festive Helwinter crowds contrast sharply with the group's growing sense of unease. A pair of crows pecking at the remains of a robin catches their attention, a sight they interpret as a bad omen. In Titan, robins symbolize the promise of renewal and new life in the coming year. Despite the cheer of the season, shadows of danger and unanswered questions linger over the group as they press onward, each step bringing them closer to the kraken, and perhaps closer to the answers they seek about the dead roads and the mysteries that lie ahead. The group leaves the shop and sets off toward the salted kraken, deciding to stop by the Halls of Justice on the way. As they approach the Halls of Justice, they notice the large screens that typically broadcast news running a special report on a loop.
Breaking news.
In a shocking turn of events, Victor and Eliza Darrow, renowned figures in Titan's industrial and mercantile elite, have been reported missing. The influential couple, known for their successful trade empire and high-profile connections within the Golden Concord, were last seen 2 nights ago, according to sources close to the family. The City Guard has launched a full investigation into their disappearance, though at this time they have yet to release any official theories or suspects. Captain Thornshield, head of the City Guard, assured the public in a brief statement, "We are dedicating all necessary resources to locating Victor and Eliza Darrow. We urge anyone with information to come forward immediately." The Darrow estate remains under tight security, with guard patrols increased in the district. Rumors have already begun circulating, with speculation ranging from foul play to a possible abduction tied to the Darrow family's vast wealth and influence. For now, the mystery deepens, and Titan's citizens are left waiting for answers. Stay tuned for further updates as this story develops.
The group watches the broadcast, noting the surprise and confusion rippling through the crowd. Theodore shifts nervously, but realizes no one knows of his connection to the couple and stays silent. Zethian, also connected to the Darrows, remains quiet. After checking in at the desk and leaving a message for Lady Seraphina, who is unavailable, the group continues toward the salted kraken. Along the way, Zethian hears a growling sound behind him. Spinning around, he hears it again, still coming from behind. Curious, he steps off the road into a nearby alleyway, realizing the sound is coming from his backpack. Reaching into the bag, Zethian suddenly yelps in pain as something bites his arm. Saladin rushes forward and punches the bag, fearing it might be a mimic. A rough intake of breath escapes the bag, and moments later it bursts into flames, spewing a cone of fire toward Saladin. As the bag burns, Zethian drops it, revealing a pair of grenades rolling onto the ground, miraculously not detonating. A deep, growling voice emanates from the bag. "Not Master." A flask of oil ignites, causing another blast of flame that burns both Zethian and Saladin. When the flames subside, the group notices a black, scaled cloak lying unharmed on the ground, its eyes now open and glaring at them. Saladin quickly douses the fire with his water skin, and the voice from the cloak growls again, "Not Master!" Zethian, furious, punches Saladin in the face. Theodore steps forward cautiously and addresses the cloak, asking if its master is Allura. The cloak growls, "Blackscale Master, yes. Where Master?" The group explains that Allura is dead, and they are searching for her killers, but the cloak refuses to listen. Saladin attempts to touch the cloak, but is snapped at. However, Theodore manages to pet it without issue. Talek shows a wooden necklace as proof of Allura's death. Meanwhile, Zethian grumbles at Saladin, "You owe me a new backpack." He then shows his Ranger's Conclave charm, trying to demonstrate that he is not an enemy. The cloak growls, "Woodwalker like master." The group questions the cloak about its master's plans or enemies. The cloak responds, "Master hunt metal city man." When Saladin offers it some jerky to eat, the cloak refuses and grumbles, "Want coal." Zethian asks if it is okay to pick the cloak up and carry it. The cloak growls, "Brimstone not bite Woodwalker." Zethian picks up the cloak, now addressing it as Brimstone, and puts it on. Talek offers Brimstone an ember from a torch, which it chews on contentedly. Bloody and burned, the group decides against going to the Salted Kraken, and instead heads back to the keg, passing through the mid-city park. Along the way, Zethian and Saladin argue over the destroyed backpack, with Saladin mocking Zethian for losing a fight to an inanimate object. Brimstone growls through his chewing, "Not inanimate." During the argument, Zethian trips Saladin, sending him face first into the dirt. Brimstone chuckles, mumbling, "Punch, man, fall down." Saladin gets up and punches Zethian in the gut. Brimstone's demeanor shifts as he growls, "Woodwalker want Brimstone burn?" Zethian, annoyed, replies, "Yes, you can." With a deep breath, Brimstone releases a cone of fire. Saladin dodges most of it, but still gets singed, drawing the attention of nearby parkgoers, who begin to move away nervously. Fed up, Saladin pulls his maul and swings, knocking Zethian unconscious. Brimstone growls angrily while Talek tends to Zethian, and Theodore tries to calm the cloak. Unnoticed by the distracted group, an 8-foot-tall paladin of the Iron Soul in gleaming silver power armor approaches. Looming over them, the paladin asks, "Is there a problem here?" Talek quickly responds, "No problem at all. Our friends had too much to drink. We're getting them home." The paladin shakes his head. "Open flames and weapons on the city streets. Today of all days." Talek nods. "I know. I'm sorry. We're getting them home now." The paladin sighs and steps back. "Quickly then. No more trouble. I'll be watching." As the paladin departs, Saladin lifts Zethian. "Come on. You fucked around and found out, but no one here wants you dead." Brimstone allows Saladin to approach, but growls, "Watching you." The group finally gets back to the keg, and Darvoth looks up as they enter. "What the hell kind of morning have you lot had?" Talek sighs. "Don't ask. Just get them a drink and maybe give them a bit of your diplomacy." Saladin raises his hands defensively. "I have no ill will here." He fucked around, he found out. "It's done, Brimstone ill will," the cloak growls. Talek buys a round of drinks and asks Darvoth if he has some spare coal. Darvoth obliges, and Talek hands it to Saladin to feed Brimstone, hoping to smooth over the hurt feelings. As the evening progresses, the group discusses the day, while Brimstone happily chews on the coal. Talek takes a few moments to examine his new amulet. He notices it's handmade with uneven links, clearly a work of art rather than a mass-produced item. Using his tools, he peers closer and finds tiny etched markings in the metalwork. However, the text is too small for him to decipher. The group eventually debates whether to give Brimstone shots of Fireball whiskey. Brimstone, excited, growls, "Brimstone like fire. Start fire now?" "No." The group choruses in unison, prompting Brimstone to sulk. Saladin, a few drinks in, leans toward Brimstone. "Let me make a deal with you. You might not like me much, but if I ever go down, like if I'm out cold, you can burn me and everything around me. Deal?" Brimstone grins wickedly. "Brimstone burn punch man if he fall down," the cloak growls. Hours pass. The evergreen wreath is hung over the door of the broken keg, signaling the start of the Helwinter feast. Guests begin to arrive, including Mopua, the young guard the group previously encountered during the arena raid. Saladin spots Mo and, with zero hesitation, greets him with a random bear hug and a booming, "Mo, how you been?" Mo looks confused, clearly not expecting such familiarity, but he doesn't seem put off. Before Saladin can ask him any questions, Mo beats him to it. "Things have been crazy since your last fight. Do you have any idea why all that went down?" Saladin furrows his brow. "I was going to ask you the same thing." "I don't know," Mo replies, then explains that he had been on patrol near the markets that night, disappointed to be missing the fight, when he was summoned by his commander. He'd assumed it was an excuse to let him watch the match, but was instead sent to the arena to search for a specific person, someone they never found. As Mo glances at the group Saladin introduced him to, his gaze lingers on Zethian for a moment, something clearly ticking in his mind. Noticing this, Saladin quickly distracts Mo and steers him toward the bar with Talek. The night continues. Drinks flow. The meal is served. Roast vegetable stew, smoked elk, and other festive dishes. Saladin sits with Mo, chatting about the arena, their shared experiences, and swapping stories. Laughter fills their corner of the tavern. As the evening winds down, Darvoth places the traditional hearthfire log onto the fire. According to tradition, if the log burns steady and smooth, the coming year will be prosperous and happy. As midnight approaches, the fire sputters and pops. A sudden loud crack echoes through the room as the log splits, and the flames begin to dim. Guests glance around nervously, fearing this omen for the year ahead. Darvoth steps forward, rekindling the fire. It's a log. Tradition or not, next year will be fine. Stop your worrying. Despite Darvoth's reassurance, the mood in the room shifts. Guests begin to trickle out, heading home for the night. Before long, only the group and a few stragglers remain. As the night winds down, Zethian notices Saladin and Mo heading upstairs together towards Saladin's room. Talek sits with Darvoth, enjoying a final whiskey of the evening, while Zethian feeds more coal to Brimstone.